Don't go away. You won't want to miss this episode of Doggy Dilemmas with our Jack Russell Terrier friend, Snooki.
Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years experience training dogs and people. If you've got a doggy dilemma, Denise can help.
Welcome to another episode of Doggy Dilemmas. I'm Denise Mazzola. On today's episode, you're going to meet Snooki, a Jack Russell Terrier that's just over a year old. Snooki's here with me primarily to be house trained, and we're going to be doing that in a completely different way, so stick around for that. We're also going to teach her to leave it and some impulse control because Snooki, as most small dogs, has no impulse control. She's also a Jack Russell Terrier, which means she has more energy than the space shuttle, and you're going to see that in about 3 seconds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to let Snooki out, and you're going to see her in all of her glory. Then we're going to do that again, and I'm going to show you the way I would like her to come out. Okay, so we're just going to open the door. We're not going to do any impulse control yet, and you're going to see the shenanigans I have to go through in order to try to get the leash on her, and hopefully she'll stay where you can see her, not race around the house. Well, hi! Now, of course, she's going to be really calm and sniff around. You ready? You ready? Snooki! Are you ready? What do you think? So shaking can be a sign of stress. This is, of course, what she does. I've purposely put on an older sweatshirt today because she tends to jump up and grab things and rip them, which I don't particularly want her to have her do. Where's Snooki? She doesn't come when called either, clearly. Hey! Come on back. There she is. There she is. You're right. I know. I know. So oftentimes when we're trying to get a leash on her, she's jumping crazy. And then when you get the leash on her, it's a big game for her, and she often will start to play tug. So this escalates when I'm home alone with her and we don't have the crew here. But this is also what happens anytime you're trying to do anything with her. And as I said before, she has no impulse control. Now, she is a Jack Russell Terrier, and Jack Russell Terriers are often brought home because they're really smart, not smart, I'm sorry, they are smart, but they're cute little dogs. And what people don't understand is little dogs have a lot of energy. And she's been crated this morning because we're also working on house training. So I'm going to put her back in her kennel. I'm going to show you how I'm going to do that. And she, just sort of get the leash out of her way or it becomes a game. So I'm going to show her some cheese. Snooki, hey, good girl. And I'm going to put her in with that. Go ahead. Keep going. There you go. Good girl. So now what I'm going to require is that Snooki is calm and quiet in the crate before she comes out, which will probably be a little bit easier since she was just out. So she is calm. So I'm going to give her a piece of cheese for that. Good girl. I'm going to say wait as I reach. Wait. I'll give her a piece of cheese for waiting. Wait. Wait. Good girl. It's a piece of cheese for that. So I'm not going to just open the door. I want her to wait. Okay, pawing won't get her anything. Wait. Good girl. She'll get a piece of cheese for that. Wait. If I think she's going to come out, I'm going to just close the door really fast. Then the pawing will get her nothing. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I'm going to wait. I want there to be a period of time to separate the pawing from the being still. So 1, 2, 3. The ultimate reward, is going to be that she is able to come out. And this is really hard for Snooki. She's not had any impulse control work. Wait. Good girl. And I'm going to deliver the money in her crate. Wait. Good girl. Now, it's not realistic that I get the door weight open completely today. So this is pretty good. Wait, release, and then I'm going to let her come out. Good girl. Now, I'm going to lure her into a sit. Yes. While I clip her. I'm also sitting on the floor, which makes it a little bit easier. So we're going to go. So I'm going to pull out my, it's a quiet clicker. I think you'll be able to hear it. So Snooki's very food motivated, which is always helpful. So when she sits, when she stays sitting, she'll get another one. It's her first time hearing the clicker. Good girl. And as I stand up, I want her to stay sitting. And I'm also going to just step on the leash while I do that so she can't start jumping all over me. Good girl. Good girl. So being a little over 1, so let me just stop. As I bring my hand down, she needs to stay sitting. That's impulse control. Good girl. The jumping, she's had jumping be so successful for her for so long, good girl, that she's just going to jump, 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 jump. And it's been successful, not necessarily because everybody's patted her, but she's gotten something from it. People, even yelling at her can be reinforcing. In some respects, so I'm going to let her jump now. I just don't want her to go running around the house. So she scoots a little bit closer. So 1, 2, 3. Good girl. 1, 2, 3. It's okay that she knows I have food. So she's engaged. She's thinking, what do I need to do to get the food? Good girl. I don't know what was that you took too many bites. So come over here. Sit. Good girl. So I'm going to reach for her leash, make her sit. I'm going to shake it around because that's always been something interesting. Now part of her problem is, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You can see her start to quiver. 1, 2, good girl. 1, 2. So she's not so focused on the leash like she was before. We don't have the tug of war. So she jumps. So I'm going to count 1, 2, 3, 4. And if you've watched the show before, you know that it's important to have a time duration between the behavior that you don't want, which in this case is the jumping, and the sitting. And I definitely want her to sit. So I'm just going to leave my hand there with the treats in it and let her figure this one out. Jumping, biting, licking, nuzzling, it's not going to get her anything. And it's very important to remember that dogs really, good girl, Snooki, sit. 1, 2. Dogs count on us to give up. 1, 2. So we'll wait again. They count on us to give up. How many times have you said, oh, it's okay, you can have the treat anyway? And what you've taught your dog, which you've taught your dog something, not what you wanted to. Good girl. Good girl. So we'll go back to moving the leash. Yes, very nice. We'll move the leash. So she's all about the food. Now, I sometimes run into people that say, well, I don't want to use treats. The dog should just do it. And I'm going to ask you, why should they just do it? Why? What's the motivation to do it? Do you go to work just because you should? Or do you go to work because you get a paycheck? You go to work probably because you get a paycheck, and for humans it's even more complicated because money means something. So as long as I don't lose my thumb, I'm just going to ignore this. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll mark it with a click. And I'll give her this. So you can see she moves a little bit closer. Oh, 1. She can't. I was going to say she can hardly contain herself, and now I'm going to say she can't. 1, 2. 1, 2. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to mark it. I'll give her 1. I'll give her 2. And I'll give her 3. So I'm not just using dog treats, I'm using big guns today. I've got some roast beef. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. So I'm going to add a little bit of motion on my part. Good girl. All right. So there's some impulse control, the very basics with a dog like Suki. And this jumping is obnoxious. And I can tell you that when I'm not working with her, like I said, she has grabbed clothes and ripped them. And it's just an escalation. I want it, I want it, I want it. Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. She jumps, she jumps, she jumps. When that doesn't work, then she starts to use her mouth. And it's just, it's just rude. So we'll just wait. 1, 2, 3. Now I don't expect this behavior to go away today. It's getting better a little bit. It's very important that I don't accidentally make the mistake of dropping the food when she's jumping all over me, so I'm trying to be very conscious about that. But she's a great example of no impulse control. And imagine how cute and small she was when she was a puppy. So she's still cute and she's still small, but now she's really rude. Very capable of learning. Good girl. But you have to be absolutely consistent. All right, we're going to go on. I'm going to show you a couple of other things to do with a dog like Suki. Now, I'm very limited in how I can communicate with her because she doesn't know a lot of English. She doesn't know a lot of anything. So I want her to learn to sit on command, and the hand signal is up, and the lure is the treats, just moving her head back. So I'll show you that again. Sit. And I'm saying it 1 time. Now, the little more challenging, I'm going to load up with a few more treats. I want her to learn to lie down. And I want her to learn to lie down in a relaxed fashion, which will be on her side. So we're going to start from the sit. Treats come from her nose to her feet. Good girl. She's not completely down. Her little elbows need to be down. Good, there it is. And now I'm going to relax her by yes, watch her hip. To turn her hip so that she goes on her side. Yes, good girl. So anytime I ask her to lie down, this is the position I want her to be in. And I'm giving her several treats. Good girl. While she's in the down position. A lot of times there's the most common mistake is from the down. I'm going to wait. I don't care which way she relaxes. So she didn't get anything for that. Sit. Nose to straight between her feet. And she's relaxed. So I'm going to click and give her a treat. Another one. Another one. I don't need to continue to re-click. Another one. So that the down behavior has a little bit of duration, which means she'll stay there for a period of time, and it's just seconds. A lot of times what folks do is they'll ask their dog to lie down, they give them 1 treat, and then it's done. So what the dog learns is, oh, lie down, get a treat, and then stand back up. Or the common mistake is, I'll show you with her, if you're not completely prepared. Let's see if she'll, so from the sit, it's easier, down. So the other common mistake is she's here. Oh, I need a treat. You go back to get the treat, and then you give it to her when she's standing. So even though you got her into the down position, the treat was delivered when she was standing, and that's the behavior that gets reinforced, and that's the behavior that you get. So when you ask for down, she stands up, because that's where she got the biggest payment. All right, so I'm going to do it one more time to get her to relax. And you can see she's, I don't know if you can see it, she's quivering a little bit. Her little tail quivers. So Nothing for that. I'll give her a little something for the sit. And you need more than one treat when you're going to start the down, so I'm going to prepare and put several in my hand. Lure her down between her front feet. Good. So a little bit for that. Ouch. And I'm going to turn her. Now her legs are all kind of funny, so this is going to take her a minute to figure this one out. Good girl. So there she's relaxed. We got this nice little C. And I'm going to work on giving her one treat at a time while she's in that position. Now you can add the label down, you can call it flat, you can call it floor, you can call it anything you want. If you're the type of person that says, get down, get down, get down, and your dog is jumping on you, then don't label your lie down command as down, because one word cannot mean two things in doggy world. So if you tend to say down, then I would just say flat or lie or floor, pick another word to use for that. Okay, so again, we're not going to change her. She's already calmer. She's a little more focused. Of course, I've got all these great things in my bait bag, so why not? But again, let's set us all up for success here. Now I want to show you a leave it command. And the way we do leave it is first, she's just going to learn to leave the smell of a treat. So I've got treats in both hands. I'm going to break them up so they're Snooki size. Smaller dog, she can eat a lot. She's very food motivated. And then there's that lack of impulse control. Oh, I see it, I want it. Can I have it? And my answer is no. So hands nice and low. Keep them nice and wide apart so you can really see if she's choosing to go back and forth or pausing. And this will get her nothing. Leave it. But that will, because she looked away. So pawing, nibbling, biting my hand, licking my hand produces nothing. I'm going to wait and see if she starts the same thing with that hand. She comes back. And when she does nothing, like that, good girl, she gets a click and a treat. It's not important to label the behavior yet. Yes, good girl. So you can almost see the wheels in her head turning. No, she's going to try to go for the bait bag. That's not going to work either. That's not going to help. So she's nibbling. Nibbling. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3. Good girl. And she's going to get a treat from the other hand. She will never leave it. Good girl. So see her just looking back and forth, but not moving towards it. So what has she learned? That nothing, doing nothing on her part, is what gets her the treat. Oh, even better when she looks at me. I like that a lot. So let me just stop a second. She will never get what I've asked her to leave. So you need to think of this as it's pills that you drop on the floor. It might be something gross on the side of the road. With my 3 daughters, we've had things fall out of the refrigerator and break, and everybody screams, leave it! And they will never get what you've asked them to leave. That's never going to be an option for them. All right, so what she's learning today with just the smell of the treats is that doing a lot of nothing is what will get her the treat. Leave it. She can look. I'd really like it if she'd look back at me, so I'm going to just wait a little bit and see if I get anything else from her. She's wagging her little tail. She's thinking. And she can't help herself again. Leave it. Come here. Good girl. So she didn't respond to the click. She doesn't know that yet. Good job. But she's clearly getting the idea of do nothing, and that gets her the treat. So the next step to this is just drop your hands to the floor. Small dogs or big dogs, the process is the same. Now you're sort of really in their territory. Leave it. She always gets something from the other hand. Leave it. So again, I don't care why she looks away. I just care that she stops pestering the hand. And it's interesting that she hasn't started to go after this hand, which is the one that keeps delivering the treats. Oh, she's going to go back to this one again. Really? Aren't you going to give me something if I pester, pester, pester? So she's licking. 1, 2, 3, 4. Leave it. Ooh, good girl. And I like the fact that she looked up. So she didn't do anything again. Catch him doing it right. Good girl. And she's back. See her wag her tail? She's thinking, 1. Yes, good girl. I really like that she looks back at me. That's very, very nice. And we'll just do one more, and then we'll go on. Oh, very nice. So do you see her? She looked back and forth, back and forth. I'm just going to catch her. I'm not going to wait to see if she's going to make a mistake. Good. So she walked towards it. She never touched it, so I'm going to reinforce that. Good girl. Okay, so just a quick review on leave it. You start with just treats in both hands. Separate your hands nice and wide. When she stops pestering, the dog can have a treat. Then move your hands to the floor. Now you're in her territory, it's a little bit different. Whatever hand she is pestering, that hand will not deliver treats. So in this case, she's not pestering either hand, so I can deliver, it doesn't matter which hand I give her the treat from. You can certainly say leave it, just say it once, leave it. Remember, it's not a command yet, it's just a label. Okay. The next part is the treat is visible in your hand. And again, it's a little bit early for Snooki, but we'll give it a shot. And I'm going to close it so she can't get it when she gets too close. I open it again. Snooki. Leave it. Good. That's a perfect example of what I want her to do. I want her to look at the treat, but not approach it. That piece was too big. Good, so she knows it's still there. Good girl. Again, this is also impulse control, which she clearly needs. And you can see she's a little bit calmer, so hang on, one treat in my hand. Yes, see her back away? Very nice. And you can switch hands. It doesn't always have to be. Good girl. Very nice. So once you've done this a few times, so that the goal would be anytime you put your hand down with the treat, the dog doesn't approach. Then you can move on to the next step. So she's not there yet. I almost lost it. She's not there yet. The next step would be that the treat goes on the floor. And you can do what I call spider web your hand around it. But you got to make sure you keep that little pointy nose away from the treat. It's always interesting to me that, good girl, that when the treat goes on the floor, it's much different to the dog than being in your hand. Okay. So the other thing that's great, it's going to be a great energy outlet for this kind of dog, is a game of tug. There's a lot of incorrect myths out there about tug. Now, if you go to the police academy, you're going to see that the police officers use tug to excite their dog, to reinforce their dog, and on occasion to get their dogs to bite harder. But tug doesn't make dogs aggressive. Okay, it can make your dog tired. It can satisfy their energy requirements. And with a little dog like this, how are you going to get her out when we start having snow and rain and awful weather? She's going to start tearing the house apart because she hasn't had any of her energy needs met. Okay, I've also think I've said this to you before. Dogs, you can't have too many energy deposits without a lot of energy withdrawals. So that could be walks, playing, and training, and brain toys are all energy withdrawals. So let's teach her to play tug the right way. And this is great impulse control. And I hope she likes my little floppy chicken here as much as she liked the other things. I'm going to get ready with some treats. Get that. Get that, get that, get that, get that. Get it. Woo! She's going to sniff it. It's not her toy. Just to figure out whose toy it is before she'll... You going to get it? Are you going to get it? Huh? Get that toy. There you go. Get it, get it, get it, get it. There you go. So I'm saying get it. That's my command. I've also initiated the play. I'm going to keep my hand here. I am going to tuck my thumb under because it's the first time I've played with her. But I don't move my hand on the toy. She has to adjust where she puts her mouth. Good girl. Out. I say out. She happened to let go at the same time. And she gets payment for that. Good girl. Ready? Okay, I need to restock. I need some soft treats. Take it. I present it. I ask her to take it. Game is initiated by me, not by her. We play. She's still being tentative. I know she can, there you go. Pull stronger with that. I'm going to say out. Doesn't mean anything to her yet. Good girl. Okay. Okay, ready? Ready, take it. Take it. Get it, get it, get it, get it. Take it. Good girl. Good girl. There's absolutely nothing wrong with playing this game with, ready? Ready, get it? Yes, good girl. Find a toy your dog really likes to play with. Make it yours. This toy will not live on the floor for her to play. It's my toy. It's going to stay with me, or one of my favorite places is the top of the refrigerator. Get it. Get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it, get it. Out. Again, doesn't mean anything to her yet. Here. So I say it just once. Good girl. There it is. So now I have to be careful where the toy is. I'm going to step on her leash so I can move around. So let's see. So she likes the kind of soft toys. You might have to experiment with your dog. Ready? So good girl. So I'm going to ask her to sit. Her reinforcement or reward is the toy. Take it. I don't need food for that. Sit. Get it. Get it. Good girl. So she's not pulling as hard as she did on the leash earlier. She's still somewhat tentative. I know she's got it in her. Good girl. Good girl. Out. There you go. Oh, did you get it? Good girl. So the other rules of the game is during tug, take it. If she bites my hand, if I feel any teeth on my hand, the game will stop immediately. And it's not just that it's going to end, but I'm going to put the toy away and I'm going to be done playing with her. She has to learn to keep her teeth to herself and not put them on my skin. Dogs don't hit you by accident. They all know what they're doing. Good girl. All right. So you can see she's calming down a little bit. I'm not going to say that she's calm. She's calming down. Miss Snooki here, come here, is also here, and I don't want her on the couch with me like I did Benny because of the whole impulse control issue. So I'm going to ask her to see if we can do this. I'd like to ask her to lie down, but I want to at least ask her to sit. Sit. And I'll reinforce her for that while we're talking. Okay, so Snooki's primary issue is house training. She's not house trained. She's a little over a year. She was purchased from a breeder in November. So it was cold and rainy and snowy, and she was tiny, and it was very difficult. Sit. It was very difficult for the owners to be consistent about getting her outside, and half the time she didn't want to go outside. It was too snowy. So consequently, Benny thinks that any place that she is where she needs to go to the bathroom. After lengthy conversations with the owners, we have decided that the best thing, the easiest solution is going to teach Benny to eliminate in a doggy litter box, which they actually sell. So here's the doggy litter box. It's a great size. They come in different sizes so that for different dogs. Now I also have another client that has a little Shih Tzu, and they've trained that little dog to go to the bathroom in a box as well that stays in their kitchen because the owners are a little bit frail and they know that they're not going to be able to get out in the winter or the rain. So right from the get-go, that dog was taught to go in the box. She's very consistent about it, which is great. Snooki, unfortunately, had a lot of inconsistencies in her house training. And I can't stress it enough. If you're consistent with what you're teaching, you will get solid results very quickly. If you're wishy-washy, if you're unsure, and you're inconsistent, it's going to take forever. Because dogs don't do gray. It has to be black or white. So this process I'm using with Snooki is they've opted to have her go on these doggy pee pads that are supposed to be scented so that the dog smells them, because dogs determine where they're going to eliminate by the smell. So if you've had a lot of accidents in your house, the number one thing you need to do is clean, scrub, and then use a deodorizer like Nature's Miracle or something that will break down the enzymes. Other deodorizers are just deodorizers. They're just going to try to mask the smell, but it's not going to prevent the dog from going to the bathroom there. So I put one pad in the box. I don't expect her to go in the box yet, but it's part of the process. Let me get rid of this. And I have two areas set up. So this is the upstairs area. And I'm using a lot of pads around the box, right? I want to sort of bring the grass indoors, if you will. So Snooki is never loose in the house. She is crated when I'm not home. And when I am home, nope, not on the couch, not on the couch. When I am home, she's on a leash this way. So when let's start in the morning. I get up in the morning, she comes out of her crate. As soon as I bring her out in the crate, she goes on a leash and she comes to her pee pad area. And I have a few more probably set up in the morning, so she's got a big target. And once she is consistently eliminating on these pads, I will start to pick them up so that her area will be smaller and smaller until the only thing that's left is this box. She'll have one upstairs and she'll have one downstairs, which is the same as what the owners are going to do. I'm also labeling the process of elimination for her, which sounds kind of funny. And if you start this off with your puppy, boy, you're going to be golden. Now, my word for my two dogs is hurry up. So if I'm in a hurry or I need to go or we're traveling and you're stopping at a rest area, the dogs come out, they're on leash, and it's hurry up, and they know, oh, we got to go to the bathroom. If we're going to go, this is the time to go, okay? And the process of doing that is whenever your dog eliminates, say the word that you want to mean go to the bathroom. Mine's hurry up, others are go potty, one of them is go now, whatever you want it to be, okay? If you're just house training your dog, say you've adopted a dog or you've rescued an older dog and you're not sure about the house training process, limit their space in your house. The biggest mistake people make is they let their dogs come home, they let their puppies come home, they have free range of the entire house, and then maybe after a few weeks or so you're looking around and you're finding mistakes that have been left in various places but you didn't know about it. Limit your dog's space, whether they're a puppy or an older dog, until you're rock solid about what their signals are and that they are clearly house trained. So limit their space. As they start to show you, hey, I know how to ask to go out, then you can start gradually increasing how much freedom and free range they have. One of the ways to limit their space, just keep a leash on it, hook it under your chair leg, put a little bolt in your molding on the side of on the bottom of your wall, and your dog can stay there safely. When you take them outside, always take them on a leash, always. Go to one area where you want them to eliminate and just stand there like a post and let them sniff and sniff and sniff and sniff until they realize, oh, nothing else is going to happen until I eliminate. When they eliminate, you're going to label it. I would give them a little piece of cheese, chicken, roast beef, something of high value, and then you're free to come inside. If you have a new puppy and your puppy has peed and pooped outside at the same time, you might have 30 minutes of indoor time where you don't have to worry about them going to the bathroom. But then after that, you need to start shrinking their space again so that they don't have the full space. So of course, when I want her to play tug, so I don't want her to play tug. But this is some boredom. Out. Good girl. Stepping on the leash is a great management. She's bored. We're not doing anything. Down. I'm going to ask her to lie down and relax again. Good girl. And we'll see if we can keep her there for a little bit. Nope, nope. Sit. So we'll just do the sit. The reason you want to take your dog outside on a leash is so that they learn to eliminate with a leash attached, especially a puppy. If you have a fenced-in backyard and you're never leashing your dog when they go out, when you suddenly need to go out for a walk, or again, you're traveling, when you're someplace and a leash is on them, they will not necessarily have an understanding that they can go to the bathroom while a leash is attached. It's kind of funny, but it does happen. Years ago when I foster raised greyhounds, one of my jobs was to get the dogs to eliminate with a leash attached to them, because in the greyhound world, the racing world, the dogs are let out in packs and they're never leashed when they go to the bathroom. So they don't understand that just because they're suddenly living with you, they're used to going out in one way. So always leash your dog, always take them to the designated potty area, give them a high value treat when they're done, label that process of going to the bathroom so you can put it on cue, and you should be golden after that. All right, so let's review what we did with Snooki today. She is a Jack Russell Terrier, just over a year old. She's not completely house trained. She has no impulse control, and she needs to learn some more English. So those are the things we're working on with Snooki. I showed you this cute little potty box. This is going to be her elimination box. She's going to go to the bathroom in the house in this, as opposed to she can still go outside, but when she needs to go, so that it's very simple and easy for the owners, she's just going to go to this box. I showed you some impulse control, letting her figuring out that jumping and carrying on, it doesn't get her anything. It's when she's calm and quiet for a few seconds that she'll start to get reinforcements. She gets reinforcements in terms of high value food: cheese, chicken, roast beef, liverwurst. And again, to the folks that say, oh, you know, your dog should just do it, why do you need to feed them? My question back to you is, do you work for a paycheck or do you not? Or do you volunteer? Some people volunteer and they're not getting paid, but they're getting something back. They're getting some sort of other payment for that work. And so dogs are going to do what works for them. And if jumping up on me and bouncing off my legs and grabbing my clothes is going to work for her, because she's going to get some sort of reinforcement for it, then she's going to keep doing it. Okay, but again, I don't want her climbing on me. Yep, you're going to use a lot of very high value treats. You can also use your dog's food, the regular food that you feed them, if they're very food motivated and interested. And Snooki's doing a great job showing you that she has no impulse control. She's still bored. Even though we've done a little bit of training with her, she has not had enough energy withdrawals. She's had way too many energy deposits. House training, we showed leave it, hands apart. When she leaves the hand alone, you're going to deliver a treat from the other hand. Gradually bring your hands to the floor, gradually open your hands, and you're taking it step by step by step so that the dog learns, oh, do nothing and then I get paid. Do nothing and then I get paid. And the one really important rule to leave it is you will never reinforce the dog with what you've asked them to leave. So when you finally get to the point where you're putting the treat on the floor and they leave it, you're going to deliver with your other hand. We'll show you that in the weeks to come as well. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Doggy Dilemma. I'll see you next week.
Having a doggy dilemma? Denise can help. www.denisemazzola.com. Denise Mazzola is a certified professional dog trainer with over 20 years of experience. She specializes in new puppy consultations, rowdy dogs, aggressive dogs, and private lessons.